Hey, what's up? My name's Hank, aka Cali Green, and I've been making seed to harvest videos on YouTube for the past 11 years. But I'm gonna give you a little context too, because I'm trying to stay within the guidelines. You feel me? For the last 11 years, I didn't care, but let's stay within the guidelines this time. So a lot of people grow vegetables inside their house in grow tents similar to this one right here. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about growing tomatoes and growing peppers or any other kind of ornamental or decorative flowers. But before we get started, I want to answer some of the comments that came up from my past video. If you haven't seen my past video, you can check it out right here, I think, or over here. Not sure, but just click that and it'll take you there. So the first comment is from Aaron Proctor, and he wrote, "More plants is absolutely more yield. I can cut my veg from 3 months to 1, I can get 1, maybe 2 more harvests a year, which is more yield." Catchy title though. Sure it got you some clicks. Ooh, spicy. But you know what, Aaron, yeah, you're right. I wasn't talking about that though. I was talking about just one grow, but he's absolutely right. Over multiple grows, if you're harvesting quicker, or if you're growing quicker, then you're harvesting more at the end of the year. The whole thing about 3 months though, I've never ever grown a plant in veg stage for 3 months. That would be a massive plant. The longest I've gone is 7 weeks, and that was a massive plant. So vegging a plant for 3 months in a tent like this, that's not going to work. This is a 39 by 39 by 6. Even in a 4 by 4 by 7, it probably wouldn't fit in there. That's a big plant. But I really appreciate the comment. Thank you for stopping by and doing that. And I was just giving you shit, man. You gave me shit, so I gave you shit, bro. But there was a whole lot of comments that were exactly the same. More plants, more yield over time. And yes, 100% true, over time. The thing about it is that I'm a home grower, man, and I can harvest enough tomatoes from one season or from one grow to last me 6 months. And maybe even a little bit longer. So if I time it correctly, I might just have to do 2 grows, so I'm not continuously, I don't have a perpetual grow. If you're industrial, not industrial, if you're commercial or you're doing something else, then I understand. But me personally, probably, yeah. All right, so the next question was from user NS5. Hi, Hank. Growing one big plant takes longer to veg and produces a lot of secondary buds and larvae because of light penetration. I would veg less and grow 4, and that will give you greater yields, but you know how to grow far better than me. All right, so larvae, secondary flowers. So no, you don't want larvae. You don't want secondary flowers. Light penetration is important for the first few inches. I'd say, it is important, right? I'm not going to get too much into it, but you don't want secondary flower, man. What we're doing is we're trimming up to the 4th or 3rd node. We're cutting off that larva. That bottom flower is never going to be as good as the top flower, no matter how much light you provide to it, or how much of secondary light or light penetrating through that canopy you give it. So no, we're going to trim up to the 4th or the 3rd, and we're going to cut those off. We're not even going to deal with those. So. And as far as me being a better grower, man, I don't know. I've been at this for 11 years, but we may have different skill sets. I may be good at something, you may be good at something else, even if you have less experience than I do. So, and plus, man, I'm an adult, bro. I don't compare myself to another man, bro. I'm just trying to do my thing, and it's a hobby that I enjoy. So it is what it is. But I do appreciate your comment. It was a very good comment, and that's the reason why, a very good question and a very good point. So that's why I decided to put it on the video, because I thought it was great. All right, so that's all I got. So let's get the show on the road. You have just tuned in to a Cali Green Grow video. If you're a first-time grower, have never grown before, or just like watching grow videos, click subscribe, hit the notify bell, and grow along with me.
The revolution.
before we even get started, I got to mention that this is only about organics. It has nothing to do with synthetic nutrients, because that's something totally different. It doesn't work the same. If you're using nutrients, soluble synthetic nutrients, it's not the same as if you're growing organically. It's two separate things. If I was to give a new grower advice, I would say pick a style and stick to that style. Study that style and stick to it. Don't try to mix. I mean, you can, maybe you can, but I'm just saying, like, if you're going 100% organic, it's totally different than if you're using synthetic soluble nutrients. And, you know, I guess I have to explain it. I can't just leave it at that. So the reason why it's different is because when you're using soluble nutrients or synthetic soluble nutrients, these nutrients are already available. You just have to put it within the right pH range. The temperature has to be right, and the plant will automatically absorb it. And when you're dealing with organics, you have to wait for microbes to break down organic matter. And the definition of organic matter is anything that was living, that died, or any of its waste products. So animals, plants, and their waste, right? Their poo and stuff like that. So, you know, synthetic fertilizers are made by mixing inorganic chemicals, acids, and things like that, and making them into minerals that the plant can absorb. But that's a whole different video. I'm not going to get into that right now. We can, if you like, just comment below and I'll get into that. So because this is an organic form of growing, you're going to need organic matter, because that's where the nutrients come from. So the way I like to explain it is that everything that lives absorbs minerals and nutrients, right? So an example would be like us, like humans, right? Like, you know, we eat certain fruits that have different minerals like calcium and, you know, phosphorus and things like that. And plants do the exact same thing. They take up these same exact minerals. The difference between synthetic and organic is that in organic, you have these microbes that are breaking down the organic matter. I guess what I have to explain is that everything on Earth decomposes only because microbes exist. If there were no microbes in this planet, on this planet, nothing would decompose. The Mars Hydro iFresh Smart Exhaust System allows you to monitor and control your environment automatically through your smartphone app. You could do things like set timers and environmental condition triggers that are automatically controlled by the fan system. The Mars Hydro FCE 4800 grow light is a powerful light capable of producing a heavy harvest. The light's set up on Wi-Fi, so you can literally control it from anywhere in the world. But it also has a built-in timer, so you probably won't even have to. Mars Hydro is the official sponsor of this series. Please make sure you check out the description section of this video and use my coupon code. But these microbes have a very important job, because not only are they breaking down this organic matter that would pile up if they weren't there, but they're releasing the nutrients that were trapped, that those plants or those animals absorb through their lifetime. They're releasing them back into the soil where the roots can access them again. These are called nutrient cycles. So the reason why, first reason, I'm gonna give you multiple reasons, but one of the reasons why you need a bigger pot is because you need organic matter. If there's no organic matter, there's nothing for microbes to break down, and there's no nutrients for your plants to absorb. So bigger pot, more organic matter. Again, this is for organics only. When you're dealing with synthetics, you can use small pots because you're force feeding your plants. You're constantly watering, things like that. So it's different. But a bigger pot means more soil, and soil has the ability to absorb and hold on to water. And water is very important, not only for the plant, because the plant uses the water in its processes, but also to carry in the nutrients and things like that. But the microbes also need the water. I try to think of microbes when I picture them as like these microscopic little monsters living in water, like fish-like monsters living in water and shit. I mean, I don't know, but that's how I picture them. But the microbes get around in water, and they use the water for their processes. They can't absorb shit. They can't produce enzymes, and I mean, they can't do anything really. If there's no water, they go dormant or they die. And if you have dormant or dead microbes, then nobody's producing nutrients for your plant. And soil also has the ability to hold on to mineral nutrients, ions. So a lot of people don't know this, especially if you're a new grower. I mean, a lot of people do know this, but if you're a new grower, you probably won't know this. So the minerals, they're ions and cations, and they're sticky, they're magnetic almost, and they stick to different things. And soil has the ability to hold on to certain ions or certain mineral ions. So when the microbes decompose them and their waste product is left behind, it sticks to a soil particle, and then eventually the root's able to grow down and find it and absorb it. Simple explanation, but it works sort of like that. Look it up if you're really interested in it. It's called cation exchange. But soil is also a really good insulator, and this means that it resists change in temperature. So that's a plus, because a lot of the times you want a stable soil environment, soil conditions. Yeah, maybe soil conditions is a better word. So you want stable soil conditions, right? And no fluctuation, not big fluctuations. And if for some reason the temperature changes, the ambient temperature changes, it's going to take a lot longer for that soil, if it's a large pot and a large amount of soil, to cool down to dangerous levels than it would if it was a smaller pot. A smaller pot will cool down a lot quicker, and it'll get hotter a lot quicker. So it's a little bit more balanced. And that's the same thing for the water too. It's going to hold a whole lot of water, and the fluctuations in water aren't going to be extreme. It's not going to dry quickly. And I know guys worry about oversaturation with larger pots, but to be honest with you, bro, it's your soil mix, because that's what the space in between your particles, the perlite or the pumice or whatever you're using to create aeration, that's what it's for. And it's about dialing in that soil mix. If you dial in that soil mix, then you don't really have to worry about a waterlogged soil. So just think about that, man. And another reason that I like bigger pot sizes is because of root development. And I'm talking about organics. I'm not talking about synthetic chemical fertilizers, because with that, they're soluble. You feed the plant absorbs it. When you're dealing with organics, the roots are actually searching through the soil trying to find these minerals. So they're growing large. And the thing about it is that the bigger the root system, the bigger the plant in organics. And root systems, they do something very, very special. They excrete exudates, and these exudates attract microbes and allow microbes to flourish. So the more root system you have, the bigger colonies of microbes that you have working for you and breaking down these organic materials and turning them into plant usable nutrients. But bigger roots also means more nutrient uptake. So there's more roots, they're capable of absorbing a lot more, which means bigger plant. And bigger plant always means bigger yields. So listen, in my personal opinion, if you're growing organically, using a bigger pot makes your life easier. There's less changes in temperature, moisture. The microbe colonies are more stable. There's nutrient availability. I mean, there's just so many benefits to it when you're growing organically. All right, that's all I got for you today. So I want to thank you for watching, commenting, and subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Don't forget to check out the links in the description section of this video. Follow me on Instagram. Check out my Patreon. Hit the notify bell. And if you like this video, click like. I don't know why I always mess up that part, but anyway, peace.